Greetings my fellow freaks and weirdos, I'm Tom and welcome to Monster Gab, where we love to talk all things horror, but in this particular episode we're going to go ghost hunting in Prestatyn, which is a town on the coast of North Wales, about 5 miles away from where I live. Now, I'm very familiar with this town. After all, I went to school there and I lived there briefly too, but only recently did I learn about this paranormal legend, which the locals call the White Lady of Prestatyn. I've done a little bit of research on this ghost and it turns out she's quite famous within the local area. There have been multiple reported sightings, all taking place on the promenade between Prestatyn and Rhyl. I do find this quite interesting and exciting, especially as it's a local legend, so I couldn't help but make a video on this. But I will level with you guys, it's only my own personal opinion, but I don't actually believe in ghosts myself. I'm what people call skeptic. No? Is that not right? Oh, I'm what people call skeptic. Skeptical. People call me skeptical. I don't believe in ghosts myself, but this video is not an opportunity for me to try and force my own opinions, nor do I want to debunk any theories or criticize any other beliefs. If anything, I want to approach this with an open mind. I do find the idea quite exciting, so let's see if there's any truth behind the White Lady of Prestatyn. So we're just about to head out to the coastline now, and will I capture a ghost in this video? Who knows? I actually don't think so, and that's nothing to do with my beliefs or opinions. It's more to do with the fact that I don't actually have any experience with ghost hunting, nor do I have any professional expensive equipment. But I do have a camera and a pair of legs, so we can only try, right? Let's go to Prestatyn. Looking for a ghost on the northwest coast. Oh god, that was so bad. Hey folks, as I'm editing this video, I just want to quickly interrupt and say that when I went to the prom, my microphone wasn't working properly. So I've had to take the audio from my camera, meaning that there's a lot of wind noise in this video. So I do apologize about that. So I've decided to bring my wife Sandra on the journey with me because, let's not mince our words here, she needs the exercise. And she's sick of hearing me say that. I've done a few takes. No, the reason why Sandra is here is because I do need an extra pair of eyes. I've got my phone here for reference and for some more information on the internet, trying to find any kind of clues or indication of how to find this being. Sandra's also going to be an extra pair of eyes to look out for the spirit, but also to guide my way, because the last time I went out on an open adventure, I actually fell over. So you're going to be looking out for a lady in a white gown. Right. So keep your eyes peeled. Now, many of the sightings were claimed to be near the Nova Swimming Centre, so that's where we started our journey. It's just behind us over there. We thought that was a good place to start because, of course, that's where many of the sightings took place. But most reported sightings take place on the promenade between Prestatyn and Rhyl. So we've decided to start at Prestatyn and we're going to walk in the direction of Rhyl. Now, reports claim that the best time to spot this spirit or entity is at the twilight of the day. So not quite daytime, not quite at night, but as day is turning into night. And as we can see in the distance there, I don't know if I can capture it, there is a beautiful sunset behind us. So question time, folks. The question I want to know is, who is she? Well, I can't find a name anywhere. I've searched all over the internet and I cannot find a name to this person or being, but it's believed that she might be a nun. People say that she is carrying or reading a book, which may be a Bible. So again, that goes into reference with her possibly being a nun. They say that she wears a long white gown or a dress, and that she has no face, which is kind of terrifying if you think about it, don't you think? I mean,
how could you be reading a book with no face?
That's actually a very good point. Yeah, that's a good question. I should have asked that on the internet as well. Yeah, I mean, what would you do if you saw someone with no face heading towards you? How would you react to that?
Probably scream and run.
I'm more concerned, to be honest with you, about the wild cat that was reported around here recently. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No.
No, apparently there's a black panther on the loose in Prestatyn, on the coast as well. So
Where's that got loose from?
I have no idea. That's genuinely in the newspaper, by the way. So yeah, I'm more concerned about that, if I'm honest with you. So another question that I can't find an answer to is, when did she die? The information on the internet is fairly bleak on this person. So I don't know her name. I don't know when she died. It's possible that I found some information on how she did die. It's believed that she took her own life by drowning in the sea, which is quite sad, really. It's possibly why her spirit is attached to the coastline, because it's near where her final moments took place. I mean, that's only theory, by the way. There's no solid source material that I can find to prove this. But the idea of that's quite sad, really, isn't it? I mean, to take her own life, she must have had some kind of sadness in her life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, or she was guilty of something. Either way, she couldn't bear being on this earth anymore, and that's kind of a hard pill to swallow. And if you think about it, if she is a nun, you know, within the beliefs of Christianity, I think it's a sin to take your own life. And is it a case that your spirit doesn't go to heaven?
Yeah, I don't know.
So again, something major must have happened if that is the case. But again, I can't find any solid information.
Being in a pretty dark place.
Yeah, I think so. But I can't find any solid information on this, just rumour or theory. Now, there are a few stories floating around the internet about the White Lady of Prestatyn, but perhaps the most famous one is the story of a man from Rhyl walking his dog on the promenade. It's told in many different ways, and you will find this on the internet, but it's essentially the same story, so I'm going to try and repeat it to you. So, there was once a man from Rhyl walking his dog along the promenade, when he approaches a woman dressed in white, standing on her own, fairly late at night, staring out into the ocean. And the man thought this was quite a weird thing to see. But as he edged closer, his dog froze in place. At this point, the man picks up his dog and tries to proceed with his journey. And as he edges closer to this lady, she turns around and faces him and starts marching towards him, at which point the dog jumps out of his arms and runs in the other direction. Now, the man does turn to go and chase his dog, but not before turning round again to face this lady, only to see that she had completely disappeared. Now, the only issue I have with this story is I cannot find a name of this man, because it would have been great to actually speak to him and hear the story from the horse's mouth. But then I don't know when the story took place. Maybe he's not alive anymore. Again, information is quite bleak. There are other stories floating around, stories like an elderly couple who were walking along the beach one day and they saw a lady in white sat on the seawall reading a book, possibly this Bible that people have quoted. But it was a dangerous place for her to be because the tide was coming in, so they approached her, and when they did, again, she fizzled into thin air apparently. So again, these are just stories, but I can't find any solid information. So folks, as far as my research is concerned, there seems to be a lot of stories, a lot of theories, and a lot of opinions, but no real solid evidence. So the only thing that we can do is proceed on our journey and hope for the best. So again, we're going to see if we can find a lady dressed in a white gown or a white dress, see if she has a face or not, and just say hello. Maybe she'll want to do an interview. Who knows? It's just slowly starting to set now, the sun, and it's getting a tiny bit darker. It's actually a really nice evening. If anything, it's a nice little leisurely stroll, isn't it?
It is.
Even if we don't see anything.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do is we're going to keep our eyes peeled, and I'll keep the camera rolling, but I'll probably just edit most of this footage out. If we see anything, hopefully we'll capture it, but until then, we're just going to carry on with our journey, and I'll see you back at home. You know, folks, I know it doesn't make for much horror material, but that is quite the beautiful sunset out of there, here on the North Wales coast. I can't help but just capture some more footage. I think it's great, it's lovely. Bit of a softer side from me, perhaps. So we've kind of walked mostly to Rhyl, and we're heading back to the car now, or heading back to Prestatyn. But there are some sand dunes here where I haven't seen a ghost yet, but I have seen one or two heads. There are people enjoying a vacation here at Prestatyn, so we've come across a few holiday makers, if you like, but every now and then we do see the odd person just hiding in the grass there, in the tall grass and the dunes, and that's kind of creepy. Who knows, you know, she could be out there. One can dream. It would make for a great video. Allow me to add some narration and start by saying, spoiler alert, Sandra and I don't find a ghost in this video, but since arriving home I felt unsatisfied. Not from lack of paranormal activity, but lack of information, so I decided to do a little more digging online, only to develop my own conspiracy theory. Now, I stated earlier that I am a skeptic when it comes to believing in ghosts, but want to remain open-minded for the sake of this video. So rather than saying the White Lady of Prestatyn doesn't exist and the stories are simply made up, let's just say that if she does exist and the stories are true, then some liberties have been taken to change the information to those stories, making them inconsistent and contradicting. And with Prestatyn being a holiday seaside resort, I believe this may have been done in order to attract tourism. Again, without allowing my personal opinions to cloud my judgment, for any holiday makers who may have an interest in the paranormal, it seems fairly convenient that our White Lady haunts the promenade, right next to the beach where most tourists are likely to spend their time. But in defence of this, the promenade is where many reported sightings take place, and there are multiple reports collected over the years and documented online. I mentioned earlier that there are various versions of the story about a man from Rhyl walking his dog, which are basically the same story but told in different ways. However, some of those differences contradict certain factors. For instance, there are versions of the story where the ghost marches towards the man, only to disappear, but other versions claim she actually walks right through him, despite other information hinting she's not only a friendly ghost, but apparently quite shy and likely to vanish if approached. But these differences don't concern me. What does interest me is the time of day this event supposedly took place. Now, some versions do say it happened during the twilight hours, but most that I've read clearly dictates it happened late at night, in the dark. Seeing as this is the most commonly told story about our White Lady of Prestatyn, I find it interesting that it's heavily implied the best time to spot her is at the twilight of the day. Now, for any tourists who fancy a bit of ghost hunting, the idea of doing it in broad daylight and bright sunshine doesn't sound very exciting or very spooky. But I don't think the local council would fancy the idea of people wandering around the coastline during the dark, unsafe hours of the night, so the twilight of the day seems to me like a happy medium. And I have since researched that the best time of year for sightings are during the summer months, which again sounds very convenient as far as tourism is concerned. Not to mention, the holiday camps here, I've noticed a couple of them have a page on their websites dedicated to this lady and mention her many hauntings, which seem irrelevant if not to appeal to customers. So I repeat, I'm not saying the White Lady of Prestatyn isn't true, but some of the information may be false, most likely things like the time of day, etc. Perhaps I should invest in some lighting equipment and try again during the late hours of the night, and if our ghost is shy, perhaps patrolling the prom with a camera in tow and other people around wasn't the best approach. I'm still frustrated that I can't actually find any names, times or dates to back any of the theories on the White Lady of Prestatyn, but if anybody does know any information, it could come in handy for a possible sequel if I ever intend to revisit this topic. So, what do you guys think? Are you familiar with the White Lady of Prestatyn? Have you seen her? Have any of you watching this video actually seen a ghost? Opinions aside, there's no judgment here. I genuinely love to hear about your experiences. So please leave your comments in the section below. I'm always excited to hear from you guys. And until next time. I don't know who they are, But if you don't subscribe, they will get you. So make sure you are indeed subscribed. Make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new video here on Monster Gab. Like the video if you did indeed like it, and leave a comment down there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Share with your friends. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.